So I thought we would start with a simple, just pause and recognizing all that we have accomplished this year. So this year, right, we had a new mission that was given to us by God, right, through a strategic planning process that occurred last year. And God has continued just to remind us that this is of Him, this is His will, and we are so grateful for that. And so we have accomplished a great deal this year. And it's hard to believe that we're already at the end of May. And so I just wanted to take a moment just to stop and really just praise Him for all of the work that He has done and will continue to do at our school. So it's definitely a time to celebrate. I know as a staff, we've taken time just to stop and celebrate. Celebrations are so important. And so we have, just taken a moment just to stop and celebrate. I know at a previous coffee chat, I went through like the strategic plan, and I had pictures and dates of when it all occurred. And it's just amazing, right? When you start looking at that, all that we have accomplished and all that we have done. So it would not have been possible without all of the parents' support, of course, with the incredible kids, right, that we get to serve each day. And then we give all praise to Him, knowing it all comes from Him. So thank you. All right. There it goes. As we celebrate, we received our accreditation status. And so that's a new celebration to share with all of you. What I did is I included some words on here that came with the congratulatory email that we received. We will also be receiving all of the data and comments that the accreditation team provided for us. We haven't received that yet. We've just received acknowledgement that we did meet accreditation status. So I want to read to you some of the words that they said. They said, "It is clear through the relationships among the administrative team, the attitudes of the students, and the support of the community that they are creating a band of joyful missionary disciples. The administrative goal of creating leaders in faith is clear through the mission statement, in the classroom, and in how students and staff interact with each other and visitors. Congratulations and blessings." So it's affirming, right? When people who have never been into our school community walk into the halls of our school and spend a day with us and leave having been changed, recognizing that what's happening at our school is unique. What's happening at our school is exciting. And we had people leave wanting to take what they had seen back to their own schools. And then I received a lot of emails saying, when you have an opening on your staff, we would love to be a part of what's happening at your school. And so that's wonderful. We looked at that opportunity as an opportunity for evangelization. So we looked at it as we're hosting some visitors into our home, and we want them to leave having had an encounter with Jesus. And so we truly welcome them to be a part of our family. And that was a wonderful blessing for us as well. So, all right. So moving on, I've invited Mr. Buddy to be here to share with you our new technology plan.
The first slide is simply showing what we did in 2018 with a lot of support from our parish and from our parent group. We were able to add 22 Clever Touch panels in all of our classrooms, and that's a huge tool used by our teachers first thing in the morning till the end of the day. Pretty much all of the instruction involves using the Clever Touch panel, which will replace older smart boards in the classrooms. Just this month in May, we completed a refresh and expansion of the devices for students. These are in the process of being deployed. So I have 290 6th generation iPads at 128 gigabytes in my room, about to get pushed out with the mobile device management. That's going to change our iPad count from about 110 devices to 290. The big thing is we now have devices that are current, and they support a lot of new technologies that we'll go over shortly. It's going to be key for us. We've also added Logitech Rugged Combo 2 keyboard cases. that we will deploy in grades 5 to 8. So these are nice removable keyboards that get held on magnetically to the iPad, so it can be used in like a typical iPad in a case. These are all drop-rated cases, which we hope we never have to worry about, but over the past 7 years, we've had a few drops in classrooms. And then we have STM DUX cases for the lower grades. What this is going to do is change our student to iPad ratio in middle school will be 1-to-1 in grades 7 and 8. We'll have one device assigned to each student. Our plan right now is to keep those devices in the classrooms. That's what the teachers want to do at this point in time. In grades 3, 4, 5, and 6, we will have 2 students assigned to each iPad, and there is a shared iPad model that the new devices can support. And then in the lower grades, we will have about 7 to 8 iPads per room, which will give us an iPad, a student to iPad count of about 3-to-1. New MacBook Airs have been deployed to the teaching staff, and we couldn't do any of this without the support from our Parent Volunteer Committee, PVC, through the Fall Gala fundraiser. They've funded both a good part of the Clever Touch deployment last year, as well as been very generous with helping us with this new Apple lease. And one thing that they funded directly were storage cabinets. So on the left-hand side of the slide, you see there are 8 storage cabinets. Each of those units can charge 16 devices. And then we've added a new cart, which will probably be in the grade 3-4 wing to accommodate the additional numbers of devices in the building. And all of these carts now, when we first got our first carts, they were all basically designed to charge iPads. Now they're more generic, so these can be used with Chromebooks, laptops, any kind of tablet. So with the new equipment, we have new options for our teachers. So things like Apple Classroom will allow a teacher to control a class of iPads in their room, either from their their teacher iPad or a laptop computer. They can start a classroom. They can have the kids join their classroom. On the teacher screen, they see what everyone's doing. They can lock the iPads. They can assign the iPads to go to one specific app and nowhere else. They can grab a student's device, share it to the class through their connection to their laptop and the Clever Touch panel. So a lot of neat things that are going to happen with that. We also have options for Apple Schoolwork program, which came to fruition about March of 2018, which is designed to allow teachers to schedule work in advance, push them out to a particular class that they're teaching, and then the kids have assignments that they can do, submit back to the teacher over the Wi-Fi network, and the teacher can mark it up, grade it, and give them feedback on it. The new iPads will support the Apple's Everyone Can Code curriculum. There's a whole series of curriculum starting from very young grades, even in kindergarten. There'll be some rudimentary programming skills that can get taught on the devices. So we hope to leverage that along with apps like Tinker, which is another app for teaching coding to kids. And also Microsoft has a Minecraft for Education series that will be available to them. And finally, from the non-coding areas, Apple has a new Everyone Can Create curriculum that will be designed to teach kids how to use technology to enhance their creative abilities or to display their creativity, whether that's in things like music. Here is showing drawing, photos, any application that can support that. And finally, I just would conclude with just offering a few suggestions on what might be done in your home to protect kids. We've had lots of homilies in the church. We've had late night sessions with Father John here in the social hall or the JP2 room that talks about the things that are out there that can harm your children online. So the first suggestion I would offer would be if you have a home computer that is shared by children, give them their own account on the computer. Don't let them use an adult account that might have adult access to different websites that may not be appropriate for children. If they are standard users of a computer rather than administrator, you will have the ability to restrict what they can do. So some references here are shown in the URLs. So from the Mac OS, a link to the apple.com/families page. On Windows, the apple.com families will talk about parental controls for Mac OS and iOS devices. The reference for Windows will do the same for Windows operating system. And the last link is for a filtering company called Securely that we use to filter our iPads and computers on our network. It's a good program. Their website is worth taking a look at. They do have ways to track children. They do track what children do online with their accounts. So they will flag someone looking at self-harm websites, someone doing an inappropriate search or looking for keywords that they might flag as being a sign of bullying, or for older students, if they're looking for sites that are violent, they will flag those keywords and issue reports, and the parents can sign up to get alerts. But they also have a product that they sell called a Securely Hub, which can be put onto a home Wi-Fi network, which will basically allow you to control what happens in your home when someone brings a device in. You can set it up, decide what devices get through it, what happens to a device that's not registered. You basically have your own private Wi-Fi that might be used by kids. Their hub is a subscription. I think it's $5.99 a month, but it's worth taking a look at. And finally, I just conclude that all the URLs that I pointed out here can be found on GradeLink on the school news page, where the link is pointing to technology resources for parents.
None of this would have been possible without the success of our fall bash. So thank you for all that you did to make that event so successful. I know that evening takes a lot of people to put together and make so special, but then, of course, everybody being able to give what they can give at that time for our school allows us to do some incredible things. And so part of that, of course, went for the Leader in Me initiative. Part of it, you've seen the new furniture that's in our junior high, right, that they're loving. And then, of course, for the launching of our new lease for Apple. And so being able to put down a $30,000 deposit or chunk, right, to start our Apple lease, and then purchase the carts that Mr. Buddy shared. So thank you. Okay, so we raised over $43,000. That was so incredible in just 9 days. So I want to share with you a little bit about how we got our goal of $50,000 and where this money is now going to go. So one of the things that we did with our teachers is we provided each grade level a list in which they were able to provide for us what are the things that they need in order to teach the curriculums at the start of next school year. What are the things that they want to have, and then what are the things that they wished that they had? I have done this with staffs before, and the wishes that I've received have always been extremely extravagant and hilarious, right? Our teachers, like, their wishes were really what could have been needs. And so I say that because as I was looking at their list, it's like, we have to be able to provide all of this. And how much would it be if we actually provided all of the needs, all of the wants, all of the wishes? So we added it all up, and it was $50,000. And so that's where the $50,000 goal came from. And so you can see that we really came close. My husband, Travis, is really glad that we didn't hit the goal because he didn't really like the idea of duct taping me to the wall. But we did really awesome. And so with this money, we are going to be able to provide all the needs, all the wants, and even some of the wishes, right? So that's really amazing. All of this is going to be purchased now for the teachers to have as they come back. It's already ready and to go come day one of school for next year. So this was a decision in order for us to get ahead on purchasing for our school. So thank you for that. And then a survey went out. You should have gotten it today through GradeLink as well as through text, so it's easy to click on. So a survey so we can get some feedback. So our staff had a blast with it. Of course, the students would say, let's do it again, right? But we need to hear from the parents' perspective how it actually went. Was that website helpful? Is it something that we would want to do again? Even if it's not a fundraiser, do we still have a fun run, right? So getting some parent feedback will help us make a decision for next year, all right? Okay, so one of the things that was on the wants came from our math committee. And we have action teams, right, that are working throughout the course of the year. And we have parents that are serving on this action team. So our math action team, they had made a proposal to the school improvement team to purchase an IXL license for every student, which was about $10 per student. And so we're going to be using our fund run money to purchase this. We're wanting to get it all set up prior to or at the start of summer, so you have it as a summer extension to be able to use with your child over the summer. Okay, so you have a handout that just kind of shares some things. It's not going to have a login on there because we haven't inputted all of our students into the system yet, but it's just a heads up as to a resource that will be provided for you to be able to use at home, and then we'll be using it at school as a supplemental math resource. Okay? All right, so new dress code. It was funny because yesterday's coffee chat, we had people like sitting on the stairs going up. We didn't have enough room for people were everywhere in the parish house. And so we laughed because I said, man, it must have been because I said new dress code. Everyone showed up, right? So now I know how to get everyone at the coffee chats. No, I'm just kidding. We have a great attendance, and I thank you for giving your time to be here in such a crazy month. So new dress code, I want to talk to you about it just a little bit. So mid-year, I received this letter from some students, and it was a letter that shared on here the changes that we should be making to our uniforms. And it was a letter that I actually read it and went, this is really well done. And they actually have some really good points on here. So I met with the students that put this together and went around and got all the signatures on here. And I met with them, and they kind of talked me through their thinking. And I invited the representative from School Bells to come have a business meeting with them. And they did a presentation for the representative from School Bells. They did a better presentation than I think any adult would do. I was very impressed with our students. And then the School Bells representative went back and actually made some samples that I'm about to show you, and then came back and showed the samples to this committee of students, and they were so excited. So with all of their input and through this whole process, of course, from there, we did go to a parent leadership panel, and then we went to a staff panel as well. But through all of that, we have some new options for students for next year. So for next school year, we have a new gym uniform that will be available. It is not required next year. So for next school year, we're going to have this as a transitional year, so they can still wear their old gym uniform, but this is available to purchase if they want the new one. And then in 2 years, then we'll go to just the new uniform, okay? So they're going to have the cotton tee and then a dry fit tee available. They also have the black zip up. The kids liked the ones that the teachers have been wearing, our staff's been wearing, so they wanted this. So the black zip up. And then they wanted new pants that were more tailored. So there's the pants. And then they wanted new shorts with the material that they like, right? So those are the new shorts, all right? So, and I'll leave these up here. You guys can come feel them and see them. And then this is an optional sweater that they picked out that they wanted. This was to replace, they didn't like the fleece that they had. They said it collected hair and it was uncomfortable and it kept them from learning. this is the new option that you can purchase for your child, and it is navy blue. I know when it's standing by itself, it looks black, but that's an option that they can purchase. So when you go to School Bells, you will see one of the things that we have done too is we've added the word parish to our logo. So currently the uniform said Our Lady of Good Counsel School. And so we asked if they would change that to say Our Lady of Good Counsel Parish School. So they have changed that. So over time, we'll start seeing the new logo like trickle in, right? So if you've gone to School Bells and they said all the uniforms are 50% off, it's because of that. And it does, it might matter to you, but if you want the 50% off one because it just says school, you can buy it. It's still fine, okay? So that is what's new. As far as the dress code goes, I gave you a copy of the current draft of the dress code for next year. So this will be published in the student handbook for next year. And it might, as you look at it, you're like, oh, this actually looks a lot shorter, or they made a lot of changes. It's not that a lot of changes were made, it's just presented in a different format. So our current dress code, it was like the same thing written 10 times. And so what we did is just condensed it into a really nice chart. So hopefully that's easier to read for you. But there are some changes that are highlighted for you. So, and there's one change that's not highlighted for you. So one of the changes that's not highlighted is we changed the date for shorts, when kids can wear shorts, from April 15th to October 15th. So this year I had to send out messaging saying it's okay, they can keep wearing shorts because it was so hot. And then I said, well, how often do we have to extend kids being able to wear shorts? And they said, oh gosh, we have to do this every year. I said, well, then let's just change the date. So that's where that date came. So now we have a little bit longer window that kids can wear shorts at the start of the school year. Notice on there that it still says that the shorts have to be within 1 inch of the knee. School Bells knows this, right? So when you go, if you're going to have your child try on, like they know what our rule is, but of course as parents you're going to want to help with that too. I know lots of kids come with them a lot longer because their parents realize that they might wear these for a few years and their kids are growing really quick, right? So so there's that. And then the other change, our girls are required now to wear leggings or bike shorts underneath their skirts or their jumpers. All right, so the girls that choose to wear the skirts or the jumpers, just make sure they have on some bike shorts or leggings underneath those. So school schedule. All right, so a couple things. This came out in the Crusader Connection a couple weeks ago, and it's the draft of the calendar for next year, but there was a major change on there that I made sure to write in the letter part, and I wanted to make sure I pointed out. So I know that this is really tiny up here, so you have a copy of it in front of you, but the major change is the start of our school day. So our school day will actually start at 8 a.m. Currently, we're starting at 8:10. So you're going to have to set your alarm 10 minutes earlier. And I know it's going to be hard, but we're going to make it happen, because the reason why this came to be, as we were looking at our calendar and submitting for the AOD, we needed some additional instructional time. So it was add on another week in June, take away our Thanksgiving break, adding on some additional time in June, or change the start time to 8 a.m. and keep our calendar the way that we've had it for the past couple years. And so the decision was made to change the start time. So at 7:50, that bell will ring for the kids to actually come into the building, and then at 8 o'clock will be the tardy bell. All right? We might have a trial run this year, the last week of school, to see how we do. No? All right. So starting fresh, starting at the start of the school year. All right. Okay. So the other thing I wanted to share with you, there's 2 additional half days of instruction that you'll see on the calendar that we didn't have last year. And so those half days of instructional days will be the parent-teacher conference days. So last year we had full days of instruction, and then we had our parent-teacher conferences after that, and our teachers were staying until like 10 o'clock at night. Some of you were with them. They were losing their voices, right, and then having conferences the next day. And conferences were one after the other and didn't really allow for time for you to even ask questions. So we're hoping that with a half day of instruction, we'll be able to have conferences that are more meaningful. So that's the reason for that. And then you might see some sporadic professional development days that we haven't had before. And the reason for that is the AOD is now having some common professional development days, which is great. All schools, right, in the Archdiocese will have time in which we can have professional development together. So with that, they gave us some consistent professional development days that we needed. All right, so you might see, oh, we've never had a professional development day in that month, right, or that day of the week, and that's why. All right, and then lunch recess, we are going to have new times for next year. What's displaying up here is actually 5 minutes later than what it will be. So lunch recess will start at 11:10 and will end at 12:10. And then there are a couple changes to lunch recess. One of them are pre-K through fourth graders. They will actually go to recess first, and then they'll have lunch after that. All right? And then the other thing is that our third through fourth graders, they'll be eating their lunch in the commons, just like our 7th and 8th graders do. So they have their own time, not with the 7th and 8th, have their own time, but they'll be eating in the commons instead of in the gym where they currently eat. And having 2 lunches that are happening at the same time, one in the gym, one in the commons, will allow our staff to have some common time in the middle of the day where we can come together and truly build a culture of prayer. Okay? So there's the reason for that. So with that, we are going to need some additional help in the cafeteria as well as at recess. So if you would like to volunteer your time in the cafeteria, please let us know, because we'll need additional staff for that. And then also, if you would like to join our staff and be a recess supervisor, please let me know as well. Okay. This year, we had a parent volunteer committee, like executive team. We also had an SAC team. And what we were noticing is these were 2 parent leadership teams, and we saw how we could actually synergize to be even more effective. So for next school year, we're just going to have 1 parent leadership team. So we're not going to have 2. We're going to have 1, all right? So the purpose is to support and enhance the experience of our students, both academically and spiritually, through fundraising and volunteer opportunities, uniting families and staff to serve our parish school while transforming the culture. So that's their purpose for the team itself. We will have, very similar to what we did this year, we will be asking for any parents that want to volunteer to be a part of committees, if you want to be a part of the actual strategic plan or action teams, to be a part of those as well. So all of that, the school improvement type stuff will come out at the start of next year, that you can sign up if you want to be a part of that. The parent leadership team, what I did is I started with who our current leadership was for SAC and PVC and asked if anyone wanted to be a part of the parent leadership team. For years in the future, like if this is something that interests you, come let me know, all right? Okay. All right, and then of course, all the opportunities to volunteer at our school. All right. So I put on here one of the new things that's up here. It says Crusaders Connect, and that used to be our Buddy Bunch program, and so we've changed it to Crusaders Connect. It's truly focusing in on hospitality now, and the reason for that is we have a lot of new families that are coming to join us, and one with us tonight. So we're so grateful for all of our new families. So these were numbers, those have changed slightly. That came from the presentation that we did for the Crusaders Connect night. But you can see that we have a lot of new students that we're going to be welcoming. And so we want to make sure that we show generous hospitality and truly welcome them to be a part of our family. And so a few things that we're going to do. There's a park event that's going to happen on August 14th. It's going to be advertised for new families, but everyone can come, right? So it's just a way to welcome them. And then there's going to be a new family luncheon that's going to be on August 22nd, right after our Meet the Teacher event. So there'll be a luncheon for new families. A part of that luncheon, we'll want to have the families that have adopted them. So similar to the Buddy Bunch, like how we did that, where you were assigned a family. So we're still going to have families who are assigned to welcome families. And so we'll want you there too, right, to get to know them and welcome them. All right. Okay, and then another immediate volunteer opportunity. So what you just saw, like we need to know who wants to be involved with that now. And then this is another one that we need to know who wants to be involved in this now. So Emily Reiner and Dana Pollock are going to be co-chairing the Fall Bash again for next year. And so this is their save the date that will be coming out. It is scheduled for October 25th. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about the Fall Bash again, because now I know, right? This past year, I didn't realize what an awesome event that was. Now I know, and I'm looking forward to it. So looking forward to that, but I also know what a huge event that is, and truly everybody's needed to participate in some way, right? Based on whatever charism you have, like use it for our school and for this event. So being the largest event that our school hosts. So make sure that you reach out to Emily or Dana or myself, and I can pass your name along if you're able to help with this, because this starts now. The planning starts now, right? All right, so staff transition. So wanted to just mention this. So you saw a communication that came out that shared our teachers that are retiring, as well as our teachers that are being blessed and called to stay home and be mom, right? And so we're very grateful for all of their years of service to our school. We also trust in the Lord of who he's sending to our school. And so I wanted to put this up here for two reasons. One, to pray for them, because with any transition in life, right, a lot of times some anxiety can come with that. And the end of a school year is emotional for all of us. It's extremely emotional for me, and I'll be here next year, okay? So I can only imagine the emotions that our staff members are having, especially come the end of the school year. So please lift them up in prayer. And then I also wanted to share with you that we have posted a job description. There's a couple of these in the center of the tables, and there's more if you guys need them. But we posted our job description, and a part of our job description actually has on here how our staff has prayerfully discerned to be a part of our staff for next year. So there were 4 discernment points that we actually spent time in prayer for 2 months on. And I'm going to read them to you because I think it's important for you to know. Like, this is what we have committed to for next year. I believe in the mission and vision of the Archbishop to renew and reinvent our Catholic schools and radically overhaul our schools. My relationship with God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit is the defining center of my life. I see myself as a missionary, or I'm willing to become one. I will do whatever it takes to build a cohesive team, culture of prayer, and regularly evangelize and disciple each other. So our staff has spent months discerning this. I will share with you that all of our teachers, after prayerfully discerning, then what they did is they shared with me input and interest for next year. with that came input and interest for where God was calling them to serve on our staff for next year. I was amazed with how many of our teachers were requesting change. So I'm sharing that with you because you guys might be used to a certain teacher teaching this grade, and that's the grade that they have always taught. Well, God's doing something new at our school. And so a lot of what he has done that has been new have been stepping stones that have been revealed to us as the year has gone. And so this was, right, something revealed to me and receiving this input from them that I'm now discerning and taking to prayer. I also want to share with you that we are praying as a staff for whoever God's calling to be on our staff for next year. So we would love for you to join us in that prayer as well. We trust that he has already handpicked who is coming to replace these incredible teachers, right? We trust that they have already been handpicked by him, but we're praying that they answer that calling and that yes, and that they turn in their application on time so we know who they are, all right? So those are some prayer requests from us. I will also share that there will be some additional announcements made. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that as well. So we're next week, if you're a mom, come to the JP2 rooms from 9 to 10. There's going to be another coffee with our mother. And then on May 31st, we're going to be here for an all-school mass prior to the field day. We would like for all of our parent volunteers, all of you, to be at that mass because it's going to be a mass in which we honor all of our parents. Because like I said, this year would not have been possible without all of you. And so we want to acknowledge you in a very special way and with our students, right, with our school family. So make sure you're in attendance at that mass.